It's 8:45 a.m. on a Tuesday. You are staring at your laptop screen. The coffee in your mug is already lukewarm. There is a knot in your stomach, a specific, tight sensation that only seems to exist between the hours of 9 and 5. You have 3 unread emails marked urgent that were sent at 11 p.m. last night. Your Slack icon is bouncing. You aren't technically doing anything wrong. You're logged in, you're prepared to do the work. But inside, you are screaming. We have a name for this feeling now. We call it quiet quitting. The media calls it an epidemic of laziness. They say your generation doesn't want to work. They say you lack ambition, that you're coasting, that you are entitled. They frame it as a failure of character. But let's be honest about what it really felt like the last time you decided to just do your job and nothing more. It didn't feel like laziness. It felt like survival. It felt like you were drowning in a sea of manufactured urgency, and you finally decided to stop thrashing and just tread water. You decided that your self-worth was no longer going to be determined by a quarterly review or a middle manager's mood swings. You didn't quit the payroll. You quit the emotional enslavement. And here is the thing that the think pieces and the LinkedIn influencers won't tell you. This isn't a new Gen Z trend. This is a 2,000-year-old philosophical survival strategy. If Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, the most powerful man on earth, were alive today, working a corporate job in a glass box, he wouldn't be part of the hustle culture. He wouldn't be crushing it. He would be quiet quitting. And he would tell you that it's the only rational way to live. Marcus Aurelius didn't have the option to resign. He couldn't put in his 2 weeks' notice to the Roman Senate because he was tired of the Germanic Wars or the plague. He was bound by absolute duty. He had to show up every single day to a job that was stressful, thankless, and literally life-threatening. So how did he survive without losing his mind? He wrote a note to himself in his personal journal, the Meditations. He said, "People look for retreats for themselves, in the country, by the coast, or in the hills. There is nowhere that a person can find a more peaceful and trouble-free retreat than in his own mind." This is the Stoic pivot. We are taught that to be a good employee, we must give everything. We must be passionate. We must be a family. We must bleed for the KPI. The Stoic looks at this and laughs. To the Stoic, the job is an indifferent. It is an external. It is something you do, not something you are. Marcus Aurelius realized that while he could not quit the role of emperor, he could quit the emotional attachment to the outcome of that role. He retreated into his inner citadel. He built a fortress around his mind that the chaos of the empire, or in your case, the chaos of the Q3 projections, could not breach. Quiet quitting isn't about doing less work. It's about severing the link between your labor and your soul. Let's break down why this feels so radical, and why the modern world hates it so much. We live in a culture that has commodified passion. You aren't allowed to just be an accountant. You have to be a rock star accountant. You aren't allowed to just serve coffee. You have to be a brand ambassador. This conflation of identity and labor is the root of your burnout. When your boss criticizes your project, if your identity is tied to your labor, that criticism isn't just feedback on a PDF file. It is an attack on you. It destroys your peace because you have placed your self-worth in the hands of someone else. Epictetus, the slave-turned-philosopher, was very clear about this. He said, "Some things are in our control and others not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever are our own actions. Things not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and, in one word, whatever are not our own actions." Look at that list of things not in your control: reputation, command, Your boss's opinion of you? Not in your control. Whether you get the promotion? Not in your control. Whether the company succeeds or fails? Ultimately, not in your control. When you quiet quit, you are essentially acknowledging this Stoic truth. You are saying, I control my input, I do not control the output, and I certainly do not control how you feel about my output. Hustle culture tells you that you are responsible for everything. If you work hard enough, you can control the universe. This is a lie. It is a recipe for anxiety. The Stoic approach, the Marcus Aurelius approach, is distinct. It is the concept of duty without attachment. Marcus wrote, "In the morning, when thou risest unwillingly, let this thought be present. I am rising to the work of a human being." He viewed work as nature. Bees make honey. Humans work together. You do the job because it is your role in the hive. You do it well because to do it poorly is to degrade yourself. But you do not mistake the honey for the meaning of life. When you quiet quit, you are actually fulfilling your Stoic duty perfectly. You are performing the task assigned to you with competence, but you are refusing to let the task disturb your inner peace. You are drawing a line in the sand. On one side is your labor, that belongs to the company. On the other side is your mind, that belongs to you. And the company cannot afford the rent on your mind. So, how do we move this from high-level philosophy to Monday morning reality? How do you apply the inner citadel when your manager is gaslighting you, or your inbox is overflowing? Here are 3 actionable steps to practice Stoic detachment at work starting tomorrow. 1. The preferred indifferent mindset. In Stoicism, things are either good, bad, or indifferent. Money, status, and career success are preferred indifference. It's nice to have them, but they are not required for a happy life. Starting tomorrow, view your job strictly as a transaction for a preferred indifferent. When you log in, visualize yourself putting on a costume. You are playing a character. This character is the efficient employee. This character cares about spreadsheets. This character nods politely in Zoom meetings. But you, the conscious observer behind the eyes, are just watching the play. When a crisis happens at work, a client is angry, a deadline is missed, remind yourself, this is happening to the character, not to me. You still fix the problem, you still apologize to the client, but you do it with the clinical detachment of a doctor treating a patient. The doctor doesn't scream and cry when the patient has a fever. The doctor just administers the medicine. Be the doctor. Administer the labor. Don't catch the fever. 2. The clock-out ritual. Seneca warned us about how we waste time. He said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." One of the biggest wastes of life is the mental carryover of work into your leisure time. You physically leave the office or close the laptop, but your mind is still drafting emails. You need a ritual to sever the connection. Marcus Aurelius meditated in the morning to prepare for the day. You need a ritual to end it. Create a hard physical trigger. It could be changing your clothes the second you finish work. It could be a specific walk you take. It could be writing down the 3 things you need to do tomorrow, closing the notebook, and saying out loud, "The day is done." Once that ritual is complete, the work self is dead until 9 a.m. the next day. No checking emails, no just quickly replying. If you violate this boundary, you are not being a hard worker. You are being a bad Stoic. You are letting the external world invade your internal sanctuary. Protect your citadel. 3. Operationalize just enough. This is the most controversial one. Hustle culture relies on ambiguity. It relies on you not knowing what good looks like, so you try to be perfect out of fear. Stoicism is about precision. Sit down and define exactly what you are paid to do. Look at your job description. What are the 3 core deliverables that actually keep you employed? Focus 90% of your energy on executing those 3 things with excellence and dignity. For everything else, the optional committees, the extra favors, the performative busyness, practice the art of the polite decline. Marcus Aurelius said, "Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary?" Most of what you do at work isn't necessary. It's theater. Stop volunteering for the theater. Do the necessary work. Do it well, then stop. If someone calls you lazy for doing exactly what you were hired to do, realize that is their opinion. It isn't external. It holds no weight unless you pick it up and carry it. Your life's work is to be a good person, to be kind, to be resilient, to be present for the people you love, to experience the brief, flickering candle of existence with eyes wide open. Your 9 to 5 is just the tax you pay to live in a civilized society. Pay the tax. Don't tip the government. Marcus Aurelius led an empire, fought wars, and buried children. He carried the weight of the world on his shoulders, but he never let the empire conquer his mind. He kept a part of himself sacred, a part that belonged only to him. You can do the same. Tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off and that knot forms in your stomach, take a breath, log in, do your duty, but leave your soul at the door. Protect your inner citadel, because in a world that wants to own everything about you, the most rebellious thing you can do is be free inside your own head.